Niti, what gaps did you see in traditional schooling that you went on to creating this kind of a platform for your own child, that you brought in this Montessori thing? And I would like you to very briefly tell the audience, because generally when we talk about Montessori, people feel Montessori 1, Montessori 2, and then class first, second, third, the way it happens in school. So do elaborate a bit on that. What is actually Montessori? So
Sure.
first, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Sure, Jaspreet. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Wonderful opportunity. So, to your question, Jaspreet, I resonate a lot with what Siddharth has just said, and even Alia mentioned earlier about Tare Zameen Par. You know, we all remember our childhood, how it was, how schooling was for us, and we've all been to traditional schools. And from all the experiences, I think everybody has felt somewhere humiliated. You know, even the students who are top rankers, who are top graders, would somewhere or the other feel humiliated, right? So if you look at the traditional schools today, they are still run, as an analogy, like a factory. It's a factory where you club the same group of children together, and you assume that if you give them the same input, they would produce the same output within the same time. You know, so that's what happened to us. But human beings are not machines. You know, we are not products. And in fact, what happened was that knowledge was imparted very dryly, right? The maths teacher would come and give his lessons, the English teacher would come and give their lessons, and we had a timetable, etc. There was no connection between all those subjects. There was no real life experiences through which we could understand and apply the information that we were getting, right? So one would was expected to rote learn, and we were constantly judged by the adults, and the list goes on. All of these are the problems of traditional schools, and it still exists today. Whereas Montessori is a very scientific approach towards education, and it understands the child's psychology. So when we are working with children, we have to first understand them. Only then we can support them and guide them appropriately, right? So, what we do in Montessori, for those of you who may not be aware, first of all, it's very diluted. A lot of schools and people say that they're doing Montessori, but they're not. So, there are some very key principles that Montessori schools should have. Some of them are a mixed age environment, for example. So, children, just like real life, reflects, in the Montessori environments, they work in a mixed age. So, for example, children from 2.5 to 6 would work together. And we don't call them classrooms, they're environments where all the materials that the children need to learn with, they are scientifically designed materials through which children can explore through their hands, through their minds, and then, indirectly their mind gets developed. They're all displayed around the children, and they have a 3 hour continuous work cycle, and everything the children do, we don't call it studying or playing. In fact, we call it work, because if you look at from birth, children love to work. They are developing themselves, they are mastering all these movements all by themselves. We don't teach them how to walk, we don't teach them how to talk, so there is really no teaching. What children are doing, and we've some of us who have children would know, if we have observed them enough closely, that they learn all by themselves. All they need is a conducive environment around them with very rich experiences which mirror real life situations. So this is broadly what Montessori is about, and it goes on beyond early years. That's another misconception people have. It goes on beyond till the age of 18. So we have environments for the 6 to 12 age group also. Again, a mixed age where they all learn and work together. And it is very beautiful because older children are role modeling and, being leaders in the environment, helping the younger ones learn, and the younger ones learn much, much faster through this experience, because there is no uh, a syllabus limit for them. There is no curriculum limit. If, for example, a 5-year-old is interested in a math concept which traditionally is introduced to a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old, if they're interested in learning that, they can. So that's what this environment provides them. And as you asked me, why I chose this method for my daughter, and we wanted to set up this environment for other children also, is because we really wanted the children to learn joyfully. It should not be a burden, it should not be an imposition, because children are very joyfully learning from birth. And as Siddharth said, somewhere that survival and the pendulum shifts to survival and fulfilling the needs. We really want the children to continue exploring and learning through their natural, as a natural development, right? And that's how they develop self confidence, because we don't judge children, so there are no rewards, of course no punishments in the environment, there is no exams. So children are working on different materials. If there are, say, 30 children in the environment, they could be, some could be working on language, some could be working on say something, a map, a geography map, somebody could be working on something in biology, somebody could be doing some math work. So it's not a class where the teacher has come with an agenda that today all of the children will learn this and this, right? So it's a very live learning environment where the children of mixed stages come together and they explore through their senses, through their bodies, by manipulating these very scientifically designed materials to develop their mind. And really, the hands and the senses are the instruments to develop the mind. We cannot reach the mind directly, and it is proven by science. So that's another beautiful aspect about this approach, that there is enough scientific support and evidence that it is a very effective method for helping children naturally develop.
Me. My
Right.
question is for Niti. So the method that you are applying, it seems very interesting. But means what have been your finding? Is it slower? The learning is slower in that than reading directly from, or
Absolutely not. In fact, the opposite. Because see, everything that the children do in the environment is offered to them in such a way that they feel I can do it. It's about building that attitude. So there is no time limit also. A child can work on an activity for 30 minutes. A child could choose to do something for 10 minutes. And basically, in such an environment, they develop a concentration. So they begin to focus on their work. It's like a flow. Have you heard of the concept of flow? So they go into a flow where they develop their brain structure. So in the first 6 years, so for first thing that we have to understand is uh, we need to understand children better in terms of psychology, scientifically. Because see, it's then otherwise it's about being a doctor to a patient without knowing anything about a human body. Then you're doing anything random. So first, when we work with the children, we have to understand that, and there is enough scientific research done to understand child psychology, which is fairly new, which was not maybe the past 50 or 60 years only, right? So if you look at that, children are very quick learners. Naturally, all children, all they need is a conducive environment where they can have certain experiences with working on materials so that they can develop their mind, and they can become concentration, they can develop concentration, they can develop a love for work, all kinds of work. There is no menial work in our environment. They do cleaning of the floor. Older children are even cleaning the toilets. They're caring for nature. They have nature walks, and we do planting, composting, a lot of that, everything to
okay,
do with the hands. And they constantly feel I am capable. See, if you
okay,
give the child a very challenging work, they will not be interested. They will
okay,
not be able to do it. If you give the
okay,
child a very easy work, again, they will be bored. You have to find the right kind of challenge for each child. And that's why the learning becomes personalized. And we
okay,
offer them all human knowledge. It's not that geometry will be only introduced in, say grade one. All the human knowledge that we have, from botany to zoology to geography to history, whatever subjects that you can think of, is offered to all age groups, but according to the psychology of the child.
okay.
That's it. And really, it's not a method, it's a way of life. We
Okay,
don't want to
and
call
that's
it
what.
a method. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So this way of life of learning, is
Yeah.
it a supplement to the regular studies, or
Absolutely not.
is it only a supplement, or is it going to be an alternative?
It's the main kind of education. See, what is education? Education is everything that you do with your child. When you speak to the child about anything, that's also education. When you are talking to your house help in front of the child, that's also education. How you deal in situations which are tough and challenging, that's also how you lose your temper. All of that is education. So we it is everything they do in the environment is leading to development of emotional stability, to their social development. It's a live social environment.
Okay.
And in fact, it's an interesting thing, we say that the children have been given freedom, but that doesn't mean do as you please. For example, we have gathered here today in this session, right? Do you all feel free? You feel free because you know the rules of this session. You know when to speak, when not to speak, how to raise your hand. There is a structure in the session. And you know when it is your turn to speak, you have the freedom to speak. You see, so there is freedom without limits or responsibility is not true freedom. That becomes an encroachment in other people's rights.